campus golden boy started a vicious rumor about me. He claimed he saw me sneaking out of the men's dormitory in the middle of the night, my dress wrinkled like a discarded tissue. I was furious enough to call the police on the spot, but suddenly, lines of glowing text floated across my vision. Do not clarify. Whatever you do not explain yourself. If she defends herself, the male lead walks away spotless, and the female side character takes the fall and gets expelled. I let out a cold laugh. Fine. They want to play games? The very next day, when the entire campus was buzzing with the rumor that I was sleeping with the student body president, I stood in front of a crowd and nodded. Yes, I admit it. I am pregnant, and the baby might be his. Hello? 911? I suspect I was drugged, and I have about 300 witnesses right here. I was cornered at the entrance of the dining hall, still holding the $5 combo meal I had just fought tooth and nail for. General Tso's chicken and roasted eggplant. There were only 3 pieces of chicken, but I was already incredibly satisfied. The cafeteria lady had been unusually generous today, scooping extra sauce onto my rice like she had just cured her arthritis. I was just about to find a quiet corner to devour my food. A plastic cup of boba tea slammed into the ground right next to my sneakers. The sticky brown liquid splattered all over the leg of my jeans. I looked up. The golden boy of the finance department, the student body president, the guy every girl on campus referred to as a god, Jace. He was standing right in front of me. A whole entourage trailed behind him, guys and girls. The most conspicuous one was a girl wearing a pristine white dress, her eyes red and puffy, looking like the entire world had just bullied her. Her name was Lily. She was the undisputed sweetheart of our major. She was beautiful, had a sweet voice, came from money, and got straight A's. If she tripped and fell, someone would probably write a poetic aesthetic post about her fragile vulnerability. Jace stared at me, his face completely frozen. Riley, how much longer are you going to keep up this act? I stared at him in confusion. I looked down at my chicken and rice. Then I looked at the sticky boba dripping down my jeans. You better give me a very logical explanation. Otherwise, either you or this cup of boba is going straight through that wall today. The crowd around us instantly fell dead silent. Jace furrowed his brows, his tone dropping to sub-zero. You really do not know what you did? A girl with a sharp bob haircut standing next to him immediately chimed in. Riley, you are such a good actor. The whole school knows. You were caught sneaking out of the men's dorm building last night looking completely disheveled, and the dorm supervisor caught you red-handed, another guy sneered. Word is she came straight out of Jace's room. Tisk, she always acts so high and mighty, but behind closed doors, she is wild. My brain buzzed with static. Disheveled? The men's dorm? Jace's room? I was at the library last night rushing a group project until 1 in the morning. When I finally dragged myself back to my room, I even sent a voice memo to my dorm group chat. If anyone ever tells me college is easy again, I am going to staple this syllabus to their forehead. My 3 roommates had all replied with a synchronized wall of laughing emojis. A laugh bubbled up in my throat out of pure anger. Who said that? The girl with the bob rolled her eyes. Are you trying to pick a fight? Everyone saw it. I locked eyes with Jace. Did you see it too? Jace's eyes flickered away. He stayed silent. Lily gently tugged at his sleeve, her voice soft and trembling. Let it go, Jace. Please do not make a scene. Riley probably has her own difficulties. I shifted my gaze to her. What did you just call me? Lily shrank back under my stare, her eyes growing even redder. Riley, I just wanted to help you. Please do not look at me like that. You are scaring me. The people around her immediately rushed to her defense. Do not be scared, Lily. She is just guilty. Exactly. She did the crime but cannot face the time. She is always like this. Thinks she can just hook up with whoever she wants just because she has a pretty face. I gripped my plastic food container tightly. Great. My food could get cold, but I was not going to cool down. I was just about to open my mouth when a line of glowing golden text drifted across my line of sight. Here it comes! The iconic scene. The vicious side character gets publicly judged by the whole school. I froze. A split second later, the floating text flooded my vision like a broken dam. Run, Riley. Explaining won't do anything. Do not clarify. Whatever you do not explain yourself. If she defends herself, Lily is going to cry, Jace is going to protect her, and then everyone will just think Riley is making excuses. In the original plot, this is exactly when she breaks down and curses at Lily. Someone records it, edits the video, and after 3 days of cyberbullying, she jumps off a building. I was speechless. I looked down at my combo meal, then I looked at Jace, and finally at Lily. Jump off a building? Who? Me? My name is Riley. I am 18 years old, a freshman pre-law student, and my ultimate goal in life is to land a secure state job and collect a fat pension until I am 100 years old. And I am supposed to jump off a building for these absolute lunatics? Do they think they are worth it? Seeing my silence, Jace assumed I was feeling guilty. His tone softened just a fraction. Riley, as long as you apologize to Lily right here in front of everyone, I can make this whole thing go away. I was even more baffled now. Why on earth would I apologize to her? The girl with the bob flared up. Stop playing dumb. You know Lily likes Jace, and you still went to his room in the middle of the night. I looked straight at Jace. Do you like her? The tips of Jace's ears turned slightly red, and he subconsciously glanced at Lily. Lily lowered her head, her long eyelashes fluttering delicately. The floating text went wild. Ah, the main couple is so sweet. The way Jace looks at Lily is everything. Get Riley out of here. Stop blocking the romance. Stop hating on her. Riley is actually innocent. She never even went to the dorms. My eyes turned to ice. So, no one actually has any proof, right? The crowd choked on their words. Jace frowned. The dorm supervisor saw you. Which dorm supervisor? Mrs. Higgins from Alpha Hall. What time? midnight. And exactly how disheveled was I? Riley! Jace's voice dropped into a warning growl. Do you really have to make this sound so vulgar? I smiled. You guys had no problem being vulgar when you were spreading rumors about my sex life. Lily spoke up, her voice dripping with gentle concern. Riley, everyone is just worried you are going down the wrong path. As a girl, you really need to have some self-respect. I almost crushed my plastic food container. Self-respect? To save money, I only ever ordered the cheapest dollar drinks from the campus cafe. My daily routine was a strict triangle triangle between the library, the dining hall, and my dorm. My reputation was cleaner than a freshly wiped whiteboard, and she was telling me to have self-respect? The text floated by again. Do not act reckless. Do not yell at her. Lily has the protagonist halo. If you insult her once, the whole school will hate you for a decade. Hold it in. Please do not clarify. Listen to the chat, girl. I am begging you. I took a deep, steadying breath. Fine. I won't clarify. I shoved my combo meal into the hands of a random student standing next to me. Hold this for a second. Do not eat it. I counted. There are exactly 3 pieces of chicken. The student took it, looking completely bewildered. I pulled out my phone, opened the camera, and pointed it right at Jace. All right, let us get this on the record. You are saying I came out of your room last night? Jace's face darkened. I did not say that. That is what everyone is saying. Who is everyone? Nobody made a sound. I nodded slowly. Let me rephrase the question then. If I truly walked out of your room at midnight looking completely disheveled, what exactly is our relationship? The entire crowd inhaled sharply. Jace snapped. Riley. I stared him down, enunciating every single word. Answer the question. Did I climb into your bed willingly, or did you force me? The entrance to the dining hall exploded into chaos. Oh my god, can she even say that out loud? She has completely lost her mind. Lily's face drained of color. She frantically tugged on Jace's arm. Jace, explain it to them. Jace's face was livid. Riley, stop twisting the narrative. I smiled. How am I twisting anything? Didn't all of you just accuse me of walking out of his room looking disheveled? A female student leaving a male dormitory in the middle of the night with messed up clothes. There has to be a legal definition for that, right? I held my phone higher, projecting my voice so the back row could hear. If I was willing, you call me a slut with no self-respect. If I was not willing, it is a felony. Mr. President, pick a lane. The veins on Jace's forehead were practically throbbing. Lily's eyes filled with pristine tears. Riley, how could you do this? Jace is a victim here too. You are just dragging him down with you. I turned my lens to her. Then who is not a victim here? Me? Daniela, the girl with the bob, lunged forward trying to snatch my phone. Stop recording. You are violating our privacy. I dodged backward smoothly. We are in a public space. When you were crowding around me spreading rumors about my body, you didn't care much about privacy. Now you want to give me a lecture on civil rights? The floating text cheered. Ha 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 ha, she is so bold. Oh no, the plot is broken. The original text said she was supposed to cry and beg here. Do not explain, just keep going feral, entering her villain era. We love to see it. I scoffed internally. Going feral? This is just the warm-up for a defamation lawsuit. Before long, an academic advisor was called to the scene. Our advisor's name was Liam Sinclair. He was 27, finishing his PhD, and possessed the exact aesthetic of a morally gray villain in a dark academia novel. He wore silver-rimmed glasses, and his dress shirts were always buttoned rigidly to the very top. On the first day of orientation, he had told our class, if you have a problem, come find me. If you do not have a problem, pretend I do not exist. I am very busy. The entire class had been stunned into silence, but he was incredibly efficient. Scholarships, financial aid, excused absences, he processed them instantly, without ever making us jump through hoops. I actually had a pretty decent impression of him. At the very least, he was miles better than the circus currently standing in front of me. By the time Professor Sinclair arrived, the kind student holding my food was starting to look like his arms were falling asleep. Sinclair scanned the crowd, his sharp gaze landing directly on the brown stain on my jeans. Who did that? The crowd went dead silent. I pointed directly at Daniela. She did. Daniela panicked. It was an accident. Sinclair's voice was flat. Apologize and pay for the dry cleaning. Daniela's face flushed bright red. Why should I? We are talking about Riley sneaking into the men's dorm. Sinclair looked at her coldly. Are those two things mutually exclusive? You ruined her property, so you apologize and pay up. As for whether she went into the dorm, I will check the security footage. I practically wanted to give him a standing ovation. Even the floating text seemed stunned. What is up with this advisor? In the original plot, didn't he just sweep this under the rug? Must be the butterfly effect. Professor Sinclair is so handsome. Finally, a teacher with actual common sense. Feeling suffocated, Daniela turned to me. Sorry, I did not blink. Cannot hear you. She gritted her teeth. I am sorry. Pay up. How much? I glanced down at my leg. The jeans were $45. If the stain does not come out, you are buying me a new pair. The boba was $5, and based on the splatter, it looks like a half-sugar, light ice pearl milk tea. I will calculate the emotional damage later. Daniela looked like she was about to burst into tears from pure anger. You are robbing me. My face was stone. Did you offer a discount when you were robbing me of my reputation? Sinclair let out a faint, quickly suppressed cough. Then he turned his attention to Jace. You are claiming Riley left your room last night? Jace stayed quiet for a few agonizing seconds. I didn't see it with my own eyes. Sinclair pressed on. Who did? The group exchanged nervous glances. Finally, a guy in the back raised his hand hesitantly. I heard it from Carter. Carter immediately waved his hands defensively. I just heard it from the guys in Alpha Hall. Someone from the Alpha Hall group chimed in. It was the dorm supervisor. She is the one who said it. Sinclair pulled out his phone and made a call right there on speaker. Mrs. Higgins, last night at midnight, did you catch a female student leaving Alpha Hall?
A weary voice answered almost immediately. No. At 12:30? I was in the security office because the fire alarm on the third floor malfunctioned again. Why? The crowd froze. Professor Sinclair didn't change expression. So you never identified a freshman named Riley leaving the building? There was a pause. Riley? I don't even know who Riley is. Every face in the crowd slowly turned toward Jace. Mrs. Higgins continued. Wait. Is this about that ridiculous rumor? I already told housing this morning I never said anything like that. Silence. Complete, crushing silence. Even the floating text seemed to glitch. Plot deviation detected. Impossible. Who started the rumor? Professor Sinclair ended the call. His gaze swept across the crowd. So, One word. Just one. Yet everyone suddenly found the floor incredibly fascinating. I calmly reached into my pocket. Since we're collecting evidence. I opened the university app. Here's my library entry record. Tap. Entered at 6:42 p.m. Another tap. Exited at 1:07 a.m. Another. My student card unlocked my dorm at 1:19. Another. My dorm hallway camera captured me carrying 3 overdue constitutional law books and crying over a statistics quiz. I looked at Jace. That's a busy schedule for someone supposedly sneaking out of your bedroom. Several students burst into awkward laughter. Daniela's face turned white. Lily's lips trembled. The barrage of floating comments exploded. She has receipts. Law student final boss. This isn't a heroine. This is the IRS. Professor Sinclair held out his hand. Miss Riley. I handed him my phone. He skimmed through everything in under 30 seconds. Timestamps are consistent. He looked back at Jace. Do you have evidence supporting your accusation? No. Witnesses? No. Then explain why half the university believes she left your room. Jace's jaw tightened. I never started it. But you never denied it either, I interrupted. You stood there while everyone filled in the blanks. His silence answered for him. Sinclair nodded once. Under university policy, knowingly allowing false allegations of sexual misconduct to spread without correction can itself constitute harassment. Jace's pupils contracted. What? You were aware of the rumor? Yes. You benefited from it. You failed to correct it. Understood. His fingers moved across his phone. I'll be forwarding this to student conduct. Daniela practically shrieked. Professor. That's unfair. He looked at her over his glasses. You threw a drink at another student. You publicly repeated an unverified accusation. You attempted to seize her phone. Would you like me to continue? Daniela immediately shut her mouth. Then. Wait. A panicked voice came from the edge of the crowd. A skinny sophomore sprinted over, sweating bullets. Carter didn't make it up. Everyone stared. The boy swallowed hard. It started in our dorm group chat. Professor Sinclair's eyes sharpened. Show me. The sophomore unlocked his phone with shaking fingers. One forwarded message after another. Bro, Jace had a girl over last night. Heard she left after midnight lol. Think it was Riley from pre-law. Don't spread it though. Sinclair looked at the sender. A sophomore named Kevin. Where did Kevin get it? The sophomore hesitated. He said Lily told him. Every head snapped toward Lily. The floating comments erupted. What? Plot twist. No way. Lily's face instantly lost every trace of color. I never. Sinclair's voice was calm. Then we'll verify. He looked at another student. Call Kevin. Speakerphone. Ring. Ring. Kevin answered. Hello? Kevin. Professor Sinclair's voice was icy. Who told you Riley was in Alpha Hall? Kevin answered without thinking. Lily. The entire dining hall stopped breathing. She said she saw Riley walking toward the boys' dorm around midnight and everyone figured the rest. Lily gasped. I only said I thought I saw someone who looked like Riley from far away. Professor Sinclair cut her off. So you were not certain. But you repeated it. And when it evolved into an allegation about sexual activity. He glanced at her. You never corrected it. Lily's tears finally spilled. I didn't mean for it to become this. I folded my arms. You didn't stop it either. She couldn't answer. The floating text slowed to a crawl. Original heroine sympathy route. Failed. Favorability decreasing. Main character halo unstable. Nearby students began stepping away from Lily almost instinctively. Not because I yelled. Not because I argued. Because the evidence spoke louder than anyone in the crowd. Professor Sinclair handed my phone back. Miss Riley. Yes? You mentioned calling the police earlier. I did. He nodded once. That is your right. The entire crowd inhaled. Sharply. I smiled for the first time all afternoon. Perfect. I unlocked my phone. Hello, 911? My name is Riley. I'd like to report that a false rumor accusing me of sexual conduct has been spread across campus, and I believe it may constitute criminal defamation and harassment. Behind me. Someone whispered. We're so screwed. The dispatcher's voice remained calm. Are you in immediate physical danger? Not anymore, I answered. But I have hundreds of witnesses, video recordings, screenshots, and at least one confirmed false statement that has damaged my reputation. Professor Sinclair didn't interrupt. Neither did anyone else. The dispatcher continued, an officer can come take a report. If your university has campus police, they'll likely coordinate with them. Thank you. I hung up. The silence afterward was deafening. Then, half the crowd instinctively took a step backward. Not away from me. Away from Jace. Away from Lily. Away from Daniela. The floating comments flashed again. Oh my god. She actually called. This isn't a revenge novel. This is a legal thriller. Professor Sinclair finally spoke. No one leaves. Several students visibly flinched. I've contacted student conduct and campus security. Everyone who witnessed this incident will be asked to provide statements. Daniela blurted, "You're treating us like criminals." No, Sinclair replied evenly. I'm treating this like evidence. 20 minutes later, 2 campus security officers arrived. One of them, Officer Ramirez, opened a notebook. Who made the original allegation? Nobody answered. Officer Ramirez looked around. I'll ask again. Kevin slowly raised his hand. I forwarded it. Who sent it to you? Lily. Officer Ramirez wrote it down. Lily, where did you get it? Her voice was barely audible. I thought I saw Riley. You thought? Yes. And you stated it as fact? Another note. Officer Ramirez turned to Jace. When did you first hear the rumor? This morning. And you knew people believed Miss Riley had been in your room? Yes. You corrected them? Jace stayed silent. Officer Ramirez looked up. I'll take that as a no. By evening, the story had completely flipped. The university confession page updated. Post number 4817. Correction. Earlier allegations involving freshman Riley were false. Multiple witnesses confirmed there is currently no evidence she entered the men's dormitory. Please stop spreading misinformation. Comments poured in by the hundreds. I deleted my old comment. I actually believed it. So someone almost ruined her life over gossip? Jace never denied it? That's disgusting. The floating text flickered frantically. Public opinion reversing. Original plot inaccessible. Hero route collapsing. The next morning, student conduct released temporary measures. Daniela was suspended from student organization activities pending investigation. Kevin received disciplinary charges for spreading unverified accusations. Lily was removed from her position as orientation ambassador while the investigation continued. Jace lost his position as student body president, temporarily at first, pending a hearing. Campus forums exploded. What? They actually suspended Jace? I've never seen that happen. When I walked across campus that afternoon, people stared. Not with disgust. With curiosity. Some looked guilty. A girl hurried over. Riley. I recognized her. She'd laughed the loudest yesterday. She couldn't even meet my eyes. I'm sorry. I simply nodded. Okay. She blinked. That's it? What else were you expecting? She looked like she wanted forgiveness. Instead, I walked past her. The floating text approved. Yes. Don't waste your energy. She's not the final boss. Save it. 3 days later, Professor Sinclair called me into his office. Stacks of papers covered every available surface. Without looking up, he slid a folder across the desk. Read page 4. I opened it. My eyebrows rose. These are IP logs. The anonymous campus confession account, he said. We subpoenaed the university network records. I slowly looked up. You found the original poster? I found the university account used to submit it. He adjusted his glasses. It wasn't Kevin. It wasn't Daniela. It wasn't even Lily. My fingers tightened around the folder. Page 4 listed a single university login. Student Government Office Computer 03. Directly beneath it was the login history. Account holder, Jace Morgan. The room fell silent. Even the floating text stopped. Then, one trembling line appeared. He started it. I read the line again. Account holder, Jace Morgan. I looked up slowly. That's his login. Professor Sinclair nodded. It is. But before you celebrate, remember something. He tapped the folder. A login is evidence that an account was used. It is not, by itself, proof of who was sitting at the keyboard. The excitement that had flared inside me cooled immediately. Good. That was how evidence was supposed to work. He continued, Campus IT is reviewing security camera footage from outside the student government office. I closed the folder. So we wait. We verify. Exactly. The floating text practically short-circuited. She said we verify. Pierre La brain activated. This is why she was never the original heroine. The hearing was scheduled for Friday. The student conduct auditorium was packed. Not because anyone cared about university discipline. Because everyone wanted front row seats to watch the campus golden boy fall. Professor Sinclair sat at one table. Across from him sat the student conduct panel. Jace. Lily. Daniela. Kevin. And me. The chairwoman adjusted her microphone. We are here to determine responsibility for the dissemination of false allegations against Miss Riley Carter. One by one, people testified. Kevin admitted forwarding the message. Daniela admitted repeating it as fact. Several students admitted embellishing the story. One even confessed, bright red with embarrassment, I added the part about her clothes being wrinkled. Another mumbled, I was the one who said she came out of Jace's room. The chairwoman frowned. Did anyone actually see Miss Riley leave Mr. Morgan's room? Silence. No. Did anyone see her enter the dormitory? Again. No. The rumor had grown like a snowball. Every person had added one tiny detail. By the time it reached the cafeteria, it sounded like an eyewitness account. Then IT services arrived. A technician connected a laptop to the projector. We reviewed access logs and surveillance footage. The first image appeared. Student Government Office. 11:48 p.m. Jace unlocked the office with his ID. He entered alone. 11:52. Another student entered. The room collectively leaned forward. Lily. She stayed for 12 minutes. At 12:04 a.m., she left. Jace remained inside. At 12:11 a.m., he sat down at computer 03. The technician advanced the footage. There is no screen recording, but this is the moment the anonymous confession was submitted according to server timestamps. The timestamp on the server matched the timestamp on the video. 12 hours 13 minutes and 41 seconds. The room was so quiet I could hear someone uncapping a pen. Jace's face had gone completely pale. The chairwoman asked quietly. Mr. Morgan. Can you explain why your account submitted the anonymous confession? He swallowed. I can. Everyone waited. He closed his eyes. I wrote it. A collective gasp swept through the auditorium. Lily stared at him. What? I never expected it to spread this far. His voice sounded hoarse. I was angry. Riley rejected joining the student government. I blinked. That's your reason? He laughed bitterly. You embarrassed me in front of the executive committee. Memory clicked into place. 2 weeks ago. He'd invited me to join. I declined because I worked evenings and needed my scholarship. That was it. That was the grand motive. The chairwoman's expression hardened. So you knowingly fabricated an encounter between yourself and Miss Riley? Yes. You understood it would damage her reputation. I didn't think. Professor Sinclair interrupted for the first time all afternoon. No. His voice was calm. You simply didn't think she'd fight back. Jace had no answer. Lily's hands trembled. You lied to me too? He couldn't even meet her eyes. I told you someone had been spreading rumors. I never told you I started them. Tears rolled silently down Lily's face, not theatrical, not performative this time, just stunned disbelief. She stood. Without another word, she walked out of the hearing. The floating text shimmered. Original romance route. Terminated. The panel recessed briefly. When they returned, the chairwoman read the decision. Mr. Jace Morgan, you are removed from your position as student body president, suspended for 1 academic year, and referred for further disciplinary review. Ms. Daniela Brooks and Mr. Kevin Cho will receive disciplinary sanctions for harassment and knowingly spreading false information. As for Miss Riley Carter. She looked directly at me. The university formally apologizes for its failure to protect you from this incident. For the first time since this whole nightmare began, the room applauded. Not loudly. Not triumphantly. Just long enough to acknowledge what should have happened from the beginning. As I stepped out of the auditorium, the floating text appeared one last time. Congratulations. You didn't survive by following the script. You survived by refusing to become it. 6 months later. The campus had moved on. Midterm still ruined sleep schedules. The cafeteria still served General Tso's chicken with exactly 3 pieces unless the lunch lady happened to be in a generous mood. And I was exactly where I wanted to be. The library. A stack of constitutional law books towered over my laptop. My scholarship had been renewed. I'd earned a paid internship with the university's legal aid clinic after one of the supervising attorneys heard about the way I'd handled the investigation. Ironically, the rumor that was supposed to destroy my future had become the reason people trusted me to help protect theirs. The consequences settled where they belonged. Jace accepted responsibility for fabricating the anonymous post and resigned before the suspension process finished. He quietly transferred to another university the following semester. Daniela completed disciplinary sanctions and eventually apologized again, this time without an audience. I accepted the apology but kept my distance. Kevin volunteered with the campus media office, helping create new guidelines on verifying information before publishing anonymous submissions. Lily publicly admitted that she'd repeated something she wasn't sure was true and apologized for not correcting the rumor once it spread. Some people forgave her quickly. Others didn't. Either way, she had to rebuild her own reputation honestly instead of relying on everyone else's assumptions. As for me, I stopped thinking about them. One afternoon Professor Sinclair found me asleep on a library desk with a highlighter still in my hand. He quietly placed a coffee beside my notebook. "You'll sprain your neck sleeping like that." I blinked awake. "You sound almost concerned." "I'd rather not process paperwork for a student hospitalized by poor posture." "There it is." He adjusted his glasses. The sarcasm seems to have recovered. It never left. A tiny smile tugged at the corner of his mouth before disappearing as quickly as it came. "Good." Then he walked away. The floating text appeared one last time. "There definitely." Before it could finish, I reached into my backpack, pulled out a black marker, and drew a giant X through the glowing words. The comments froze. Can she do that? She just censored the narrator. The text flickered uncertainly. Romance ending unavailable. I grinned. Correct. My first love is financial stability. My second love is a government pension. My third love is sleeping 8 hours. The floating text slowly dissolved into glittering specks before disappearing forever. Years later, I stood in a courtroom wearing a Navy suit with my bar admission certificate hanging proudly in my office. A nervous young college student sat across from me. "They're spreading rumors online," she whispered. "Everyone says if I defend myself, it'll only make things worse." I smiled gently. "They're half right." She looked up. "Explaining to people who've already decided you're guilty rarely changes their minds." I slid a legal pad toward her. "But evidence?" I placed a pen beside it. "Evidence speaks a language rumors never can." She took a deep breath. "What do I do first?" I smiled. "Start writing down everything you know to be true." Outside my office window, students hurried across campus, worrying about exams, friendships, and futures. Life kept moving. Mine had, too. The rumor that was supposed to end my story became nothing more than the first case that taught me why the truth deserved someone willing to fight for it. And thanks to one stubborn freshman who refused to follow someone else's script,